How to Deal with Tweakers 101, Tips by Paige.
There you go. I love how we're setting the standard for like, we've just taken this 2-week break. We come back. First 10 minutes of conversation. ED seeing a saw and like a psycho poncho. Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, welcome back to the Art and War podcast.
To the show. I hope you missed us. Modern day combat tips. Buy a pruning knife.
You're listening to the Art and War podcast with your hosts, Nathan, BR, and Paige. Nathan is a Canadian illustrator with a couple years of military experience. BR is a British anarchist that moved to the States. And Paige is a lifelong artist based in Washington. All three are passionate shooters and community builders. Together, they run the Seaburn Art Page. Enjoy the show.
Cox.
Cox.
There you go. As good an opening as any.
Our very professional podcast that, is indeed our livelihood. Cox.
No one here in their right fucking mind calls us a professional podcast. Let's be honest.
We are a professional podcast.
I mean,
we're the most serious people in...
Post 100 episodes now, ladies and gentlemen.
101.
Yep.
We've become a foreskin appreciator podcast.
That's fake news. Actually.
No, this is get it right. It's a foreskin restoration tutorial podcast.
Right? I'm proudly uncircumcised.
Give it back.
So Nathan made it to the US alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm alive. I think. I saw like a weird amount of possibly skinwalkers in the middle of nowhere. Drove several days, like 14 hours straight. Very surprised I'm alive. Genuinely a little surprised I'm alive. But it was a good fucking time.
Yeah, dude, you did the whole like national tour. You're like a rock star now.
I missed visiting people I would have liked to. BR and I actually hung out in and we did fun things.
They were all relatively legal.
What'd you guys do?
Gay stuff mainly, but
no. Aside from sucking and fucking.
Oh well, I mean that's a given.
Of course we fucked.
But no, we got a range day in. Nathan unfucked some of my stuff. That was cool.
I gave your Glock a trigger job with the Dremel. I've actually been like, that's been my thank you to basically everyone that I've seen along the way.
It's like trigger jobs for everyone.
Trigger jobs for everyone. Like I'll bust out my Dremel and like the little bit of polishing compound and the felt tip and all of that, and I will give your Glock a trigger job, except for Jorge, because he's the only one who shot his Glock enough for it to not really do anything.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's damning for the rest of us. But no, you actually we finally got that range time to kind of see what the fuck was going on with my handgun shooting.
Yeah, and you were not cool. Nearly as bad as you thought you were.
No, I've been like proclaiming on podcasts for the last like few months, like I am a dog shit handgun shooter. So if you see me shooting a handgun, do not judge. And then Nathan comes, he's like, "You're not that bad." Like, really?
Yeah, you're. I've seen much.
Everyone, I think everyone should just assume for the most part that they're like not that. Like, when it comes to handguns, like people be like, "Yeah, I'm so good," and there are that said, there are those people that I know that are like awesome sharpshooters. But 100% of everyone I know who's like the best shooter I've ever seen is still constantly, yeah, that wasn't quite right. I did this incorrectly. And I'm like, yep, that checks out. Anyone who's jerking themselves off about how good they are, especially with fucking handguns, are tough. I don't care who you are.
They're the hardest platform, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially I'm constantly shamed that I don't have an RMR on my Glock, but I shoot a 48 a lot.
Still?
What? Hey, RMR want to sponsor us? Go ahead and throw me them good. Because for now, my broke artist ass is like, yeah, no, we're just gonna pocket that one on the priority list.
Paige, I have an extra RM08 if you really want it. Like,
we'll work it out. It'll be fun.
It looks like a dog chewed on it, but like.
Hey, listen, I shoot good with my iron sights. I feel comfortable with my iron sights, and RMR will make it better. The other Glocks we have optics on them because Jackson's efficient that way. He always makes sure that things like everything has to have a light and an optic, and I'm like, yay. But then I'm just like, I just want it to fit in my clothes or my purse or wherever so I can easily access it. And sometimes sights and stuff are hard. They're just harder to conceal in some instances. So
disagree, RMR gang.
I love RMRs. I do. But there are just sometimes you just got to get a little sneaky. Got to get a little sneaky with how you put your gun on you.
No sights at all. None. Just take
completely
take
flat.
Yeah.
There you go.
You don't even need a gun. Just like an erect penis and a knife will do a lot
heavy
more.
brick.
No, that's the Irish way, right?
Yeah, a hammer.
A hammer. You guys, that's intimate.
I
Killing
have a
someone.
strategic hammer laid out in my like throughout my house. That was not even a joke. There's like 3 of them in 3 different rooms to spend the most time in, just in case.
I unironically
I
want
don't even
to make,
doubt it.
Yeah, I want to make like an appendix holster for just like a ball-peen hammer. Like you see someone pull that out, you know they mean fucking business.
It's called a tool belt. What are you talking about, Nathan?
Conceal carry.
Yeah.
It's not hard to hide a hammer.
Yeah, but you know,
you want to do it proficiently and
I do it in
professionally.
my pants every day.
Yeah, like the shot timer goes off.
A hammer is just such an intimate way to kill somebody, though. Like if someone come into your house of the thing,
yeah, but it's
like,
got the deterrent factor because if 3 guys break in and then the other 2 see you kill one with a hammer, he goes, he goes on the ground, he's taking his teeth out and shit. They're gonna be like, "Oh my god!"
Well, I also imagine there's no way to kill someone where there's like more eye contact than using a hammer. Like you're just looking at them right in the eye as you do.
You're going old boy removing the teeth first, so that's like good in itself. Just holding them down, looking them in the eye while you're doing that is going to be a pretty like a good deterrent to the rest of them.
Guys, do you remember in like I want to say the mid 2000s there was a series of like instructional self-defense videos by that British guy on like what to do if you get swarmed, what to do if there's multiple attackers in a bathroom, what to do with all that stuff. And God, like this has lived rent free in my head for over a decade. Like his instructional video of like, have you seen these?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so there's one, and this is the most iconic in my opinion. And he's just like this massive fucking British guy, like super jacked, bald head, just always talking like this kind of.
Yeah, they come with bald heads.
Yeah, and what got me is the like dramatic recreation of what you do, which is like a couple of guys corner him in the bathroom. He's like, "All right, the first thing you have to do is you just go fucking ape shit," and he's just like, and he's like, I shit you not, he like grabs the first attacker and he starts like biting his ear and mocking obviously, but like biting his face and ripping off chunks of him and just like.
Well, that was always
and he's screaming the whole time, and like at the very end, he's holding the guy, he's biting, and he looks at another one of the attackers. He goes like, "You're fucking next, cunt!" And
yeah, that was always my plan. My plan was always like get a hold of someone's head, thumbs in the eyes, and then bite their nose as hard as you can with an aim to pull it off, and then just point at the next guy with the other guy's nose in your mouth, and just go, "You!" And then
in theory, this sounds like great fun, and maybe hundreds of years ago when prolific bloodborne illnesses weren't so readily available in people's bodies. Like that's the one thing that freaks me out. Like you get in a fight with someone, like I don't even like fighting anyone with my fist, because like if you punch someone in the face, you know, you'll cut your knuckles on their teeth and stuff, or you know,
oh yeah, you mentioned
cut
that.
Open on your knuckles. But
Next
it's like
thing
that.
You have AIDS.
That's real shit.
Like
Especially,
I killed 3 men with bare hands and now I have AIDS.
so that shit happened all the time in my hometown. Like cops and shit would get, yeah, because there were so many heroin addicts and like druggies and tweakers everywhere that you know people don't think about that as a danger. Like if a fucking junkie spits in your eyes, you have to go get tested for Hep C. Like you might die. Like, I've known that from people
like,
who
like how did you kill these guys? Did you fuck them to death? Like what happened?
You just like hope they overdose, and then you're like, oh, we didn't get there in time. Like that's kind of it. Like it's just to a point where you get these. I remember talking to an officer one day. He was at this helping out at this store we had where there was like a theft happening, and some people I knew, you know, worked at the stores. We're all hanging out there, and you know they're apprehending this absolutely bonkers fucking lady, and they basically have to throw her into the car because across the street there's some guy who's just going like ape shit, you know, heroin crazy. And when they get there, I guess he had a needle that when he saw the cops, it like broke off in his arm. And so it was like spraying blood all over the cops. And one of them ended up getting really sick. It was really terrible. I'm like, oh my God.
Shit.
So people are like, oh yeah, it sounds cool to, you know, like in theory, chopping off someone's head, intimately killing them with a hammer. Like I can get on board with that. But then the nice part about a gun or something is that there's distance, or like get good with your kicks so you don't have to get too intimate with someone, because that gets icky fast.
Another suggestion is you just pack like a poncho everywhere, and if you see a situation about to happen, you ever see the movie American Psycho, like that scene where he kills a dude with an axe?
Yeah. Yes.
Like to Huey Lewis in the News? you just have one of those, and you start to see stuff go down. You're like, hold on a second. You put on the poncho, then you take out your hammer.
So it's funny you should say that, because I think that
What?
at some point.
Just like, what story do you have?
I'm so concerned.
I think I mentioned this on a previous podcast. Like, it was so bad with the tweakers in my hometown, and I've been in so many fucking altercations.
And you started carrying an axe?
No, I carried a pruning saw, rubber gloves, and I always had either my glasses or literally a pair of safety glasses. So like when shit got crazy, it was like, okay, at the time, I'm like 19, 20, whatever. I can't afford a fucking Glock at this time in my life. It was California. So I just like, you pull a pruning saw out of your bag and you have rubber gloves on and everything changes. So
yeah.
A whole new world. I just was so sick of dealing with some of the shit I dealt with. They fold out. So I used to. Yeah,
I was going to say, that is the most schizophrenic EDC I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Well, yeah, you're like, EDC a poncho.
My tactical pruning knife.
No, these things they fold. They have different sizes. You can get like a nice 13-inch pruning saw that folds closed, or an 8-inch pruning saw. And if I'm walking down to the fucking mall by myself, because I was like, pissed off or whatever, had to go cruise somewhere, and I didn't have a fucking gun, a pruning saw is, it's a good deterrent, if nothing else. Someone's like, I'm not going to fuck with that. You're like, okay, cool. Like, that's fine. That works.
Yeah, I think that might be the new meta. It's like Glocks with RMRs and lights on them are out, and now it's a pruning saw and a poncho.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man. I'm telling you.
You just gotta pick the junkies that you fight. The ones on like coke and crack, they got like superhuman strength and speed, whereas the ones on heroin are moving in slow motion at all times. So you can just lightly jog away.
Real shit. You have to size that up. Like, I've been places where there's people, I'm not touching that, because they have crackhead strength. And like, even if they're barely taller than me, a guy who's drunk, a grown man who's drunk or on heroin, I've at least been able to apprehend a few, or get, and like, kerfuffles, some scuffles, and get out on top just fine. But those people are, like you said, they're slow and they don't know what's going on. And usually you can just kind of start yelling at them like you're a cop. You don't say you're a cop. You just start being like, get on the fucking ground. And they're so gacked out of their mind. They don't even know. They just respond to that. So yeah. How to deal with tweakers 101, tips by Paige.
There you go. I love how we're setting the standard for like, we've just taken this 2-week break. We come back. First 10 minutes of conversation. EDCing like a saw and like a psycho poncho.
That kind of reminds me
welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, welcome back to the Art and War podcast.
I hope you missed us.
Modern
day combat tips. Buy a pruning knife.
It kind of reminds me a little bit. So some, like 1 in 1,000 of the listeners will probably know. My friend Wop.
His name is Wop.
It is now, but his
is he Italian?
Yeah. Yes, he's one of the 2 Italian people I can stand.
So he's just a slur. That's great.
It is literally his username. I traded some stuff to him, and he sent me a scope mount a long time ago, and the package shows up, and I'm like, this is really big for a scope mount. This is a big fucking box. And I open it, and inside is like a ski mask, a pair of rubber gloves, a rusty knife, a sticker that says, let's go get some jacked women.
You're telling me about
that's a shopping list.
Yep. It was like a full rape kit and a can of beans covered in medical tape.
But it said, let's go get some jacked women, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's just an appropriate tomboy fetish, because tomboy supremacy. That's fine. She probably wants to fight a little. I'm just
that's a real life Always Sunny situation. Like, my tools. I gotta have my tools. I like to bind. I like to be bound.
Dude, I worked, speaking of tools, so I've done a lot of contracting and stuff like that in my life with my family growing up. And there was this house one time, this guy had died, and we had to go clean it out to just, like, we didn't, clean the guy out, but we went and remodeled the home and had to get everything out of there. And it was a daunting task, even though the place wasn't that fucking big. It was a little 1-bedroom, lower part of a duplex, building. And we get in there, we're going through stuff. This guy was some kind of Rain Man, or maybe thought he was. So there was just books and books and books, like textbooks and notebooks all over, full of crazy fucking math equations. And we threw it all away. I couldn't, decipher anything. So I mean, we maybe, threw away the genius that the world will never know. But there was just notebooks of all these numbers and all this shit. And then I find this box over in the this desk that was by the living room window. In this box was a series of photos. Of these photos were, first of all, he had some angry collection through the blinds of taking pictures of a lady who every day her dog apparently would shit in the neighbor's house across the yard, and he took or across the street, and he would take pictures through the blinds. And I don't know what he did with that, but he had like 40 or 50 different iterations. So he had been taking these photos for a long time. But in this, among the things, there was a couple of weird little boxes of stuff that I didn't think about it until later. We'd already thrown so much shit out and done so many dump runs that by the time I got to this box, I almost would have been like, oh, fuck, maybe we should like tell the police. But I find this shoebox of photos, and in the shoebox of photos is this section that looks like it's on the side of a house. It's indescript, so you can't really tell where it's at. It's definitely, paneling side of a home, a fence, and then there's no tree line or anything visible, so it's tucked away. But on the side is this little patch of ground you can see that he's cleared. And then in the next picture, there is just straight up a fucking grave dug. Like it just looks like a human-sized hole. And then there's a bunch of soft dirt and the next one filled up. And it's all, and there's like pieces, you can see pieces of clothing and stuff like in the side of the photo. And I was like, holy shit, I think this guy like killed somebody. Because then I find another series of, that was the only one that had a sequence. And then I find like another series of just little spots that you couldn't see anything. There was no discernible even building or anything in these ones, but they were all just plots. Like places that might have had like some little like stick configuration or something on them. I was like, I don't know if this guy's like killing animals or people, but something went down.
I'd be so upset if I found a mass grave. I'd just be like, I'm gonna have to deal with this now. I'm gonna have to God fucking damn it. I'm gonna have to like call, they're gonna dig it up, and then they'd be like, did you do it? And I'd be like, no, I didn't do it. I found it.
Why would I call you?
Yeah, why would I tell you if I did it? Like no,
I've had the same
ignore
thought.
The pruning knife. The pruning knife is not related. Please ignore the pruning knife. Like,
that's mine.
Yeah, just don't touch it.
the poncho.
Yeah, that's just in case I have to fight someone with AIDS. Don't ask me.
Stop asking me questions about the can of beans wrapped in tape. It's not to do with you. Leave it alone.
That's my medical kit.
I still have that. There was other schizo shit. There's like, someone actually told me these are a real thing, but at the time I just assumed that they were bullets that someone had reloaded with screwdriver tips.
Is that a thing? 'Cause I've seen people like posting that, like the meme of drill bits finding them in a gas station parking lot and being like, it's disgusting that there's bullets all over the place, blah blah blah, whatever.
No, they were legitimately inside 9mm 9mm casings. So I imagine
some Demolition Ranch shit. I love it.
Yeah, but apparently it's actual defensive ammo you can buy.
Oh well, wait. Are you talking
for what? Why screwdriver tips?
Are you sure they're screwdriver tips, or do they just look like them?
I think they just look like it. I think it was like,
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure.
Because there are such a thing as spiral tipped 9mm.
Well,
yeah,
are you talking about?
It looked like
extreme penetrators.
I'm looking it up right now. Black Hill has one that looks kind of close.
Improvement. You're firing nails is from an AR.
That's how we do it, America, buddy.
Hey, someone in my hometown once packed their shotgun ammo with Rice Krispies and murked somebody. So why not pack ammo with? Yeah,
did they
kill someone with it?
You can literally look up, Google it. Man kills or shoots someone with Rice Krispies shotgun ammo. It was awesome.
I'm on way too many watch lists as it is. Like, to cannot Google that.
Twitter ingenuity is incredible. Like, it's amazing.
I was gonna say, was this a good shoot or was this a murder?
I don't. It was probably. Who fucking knows, dude? People don't realize how bad it is.
Dude, it wasn't even a shotgun. It was a flare gun full of cereal.
No, that's someone else.
It was a shotgun shell shoved into a flare gun.
the bodies John Harvey
Oh,
Kellogg
is
has
that what we
claimed.
did? Yeah, it'll be from Humboldt County. You'll find it. My homeland.
Humboldt County? Yeah, Eureka, California.
Yeah, that's my hometown. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there's a picture of him, and he looks like exactly the sort of person who would do that.
Dude,
You're actually
there's
from
a
a town called
crazier
Eureka?
story. There's been some crazy shit that I don't know if I've mentioned it previously on here, but there was these guys. I don't remember what the disagreement was over, but anyway, they had this guy that was super high on shrooms, and then they also got high on shrooms, and I think they gave this guy drugs forcibly, and they like took out his heart and fed it to their dogs. And it was this big mess. People were really upset. I mean, rightfully, it was a really terrible thing that happened. But it was just every time just something like that happens, it's just Humboldt County. It's some crazy shit.
You got to be really angry at someone to kill them with cornflakes.
I was
I'm
going to
gonna
say,
have
like, how many
to-
shrooms do you have to take to do any of this?
I was gonna say I couldn't even watch Predator 2 on shrooms. I was like, this is too violent.
Instead, you're going to build a
Yeah.
makeshift serial
I think it was.
fucking
They said
execution
mushrooms.
device.
It could have been something else. You know how when people get tired of animal, like I've seen this happen a lot, where like animals like take over a neighborhood, people will start like poisoning meat and throwing it out to the strays and stuff like that. People start doing that with drugs a lot, and it just doesn't work because they're so resilient. They're like cockroaches. Nothing can stop them. So you'll change them. People will literally just put rat poison in amphetamines or whatever else, and these people are fucking fine. They're just like they're making drugs in their bathroom out of styrofoam and Drano, and you're like, what the fuck is
You
happening?
do reach a point where you do so many drugs, you do become functionally invulnerable.
It's incredible. I've known now friends, parents, or people that I came up with and stuff that were on hard drugs a really long time and got off of them and died of heart failure because their body couldn't regulate itself anymore. Because it was so used to being at such a high level of stress from the amphetamines, or being at a certain low level of body or blood pressure and stuff from the heroin, that or opiates, pick whatever, that once they got clean, their body physically just stopped working. It got dependent on that level of energy for whatever. I'm like, that's insane.
Ugh, that's why like cokeheads scare the shit out of me. I'm like, how the fuck are you on that stuff all the time and you need it like some people need coffee? Jesus fucking Christ.
Jesus.
Well, also
Paige,
people. Oh, sorry, go for it.
I don't know anyone who hates anything as much as you hate junkies.
It's
Oh,
me.
I
I
don't-
hate junkies so much.
I mean, we all hate junkies, but like Paige, I think has a special hatred for junkies. I think probably
I don't
because
hate
we grew up
anything. Like, I
in
don't. It's less a hatred. Like, do you hate ants? Like, I mean, they're
Yes.
like they're upsetting. They're upsetting. Like they're like cockroaches in the house. There's nothing you can really.
Yeah, but you can
tweakers, while some
exterminate
people,
ants. You can't exterminate junkies no matter how much I want to.
Yeah. It comes down to being like there is a really fucked up. There's a lot of fucked up things that culminate around them and happen as a result of them, but they are also the result of individual failures, but of a lot of other failures as well. So I see that, and it's hard for me growing up where I did. You check the local news, and I went to kindergarten with that person and they OD'd, or that guy smashed his ankles with cinder blocks because he ran out of opiates and needed to get more and sold his butthole for heroin. That sucks. He was going to be a football star. You see things like that all the time. So it's hard to hate these people because I grew up with so many of these people, or these people it just kind of makes me sad. You see the kids who had learning disabilities or were in like the special ed classes, and there were those whose parents had money and those whose parents didn't. And the ones who had money went on to be, go through some sort of healthy structure, end up on, medications that improve their life, have a job at the local grocery store, and they're doing great in their 30s, versus, that one kid who he was a litter of a bunch of other, fucked up bipolar tweaker kids. And now he's raped 3 women. They've all had children, and he's gotten out 4 times of jail. And now he has a whole litter of fucked up bipolar tweaker children too. And they just kind of proliferate. It's just, it's almost subspecies a little bit. It's hard to see some of these people as humans, so I can't really hate them in that way.
Christ, babe.
Sounds like a skill issue to me.
You're like, I don't hate them, and then it just evolves into, they're almost like
They're
a
not human.
subspecies of humans. Like,
the coldest.
I said that I don't hate them. There's just a pity there. I mean, they're there is a point where there's some individuals where there's like humanity left in them, but you can't love someone to heal themselves. Like, I don't care whoever's like fucking listening to this, who's ever given that person a million chances and, oh, it'll change this time. Like, fuck you. No, it won't. They have to want to help themselves, period. And there are those who've gotten out. I have many friends that I've made over the years who've had tremendous struggles that pulled out of it. But there comes like this turning point when someone breaks. And it's not just they're high out of their mind or whatever. You can see it sometimes in those who've murdered indiscriminately. They're the people who've like really hurt children or hurt animals. There's something there that shifts, and I will argue that it's subhuman. It's like when you eat, like when people eat other people. Mike and I are talking about this, Mr. Thumb. We were talking about cannibalism.
Casually
He's like,
cannibalism discussion.
He's like, it's the easiest thing to
Eat someone.
What's that?
Eat someone.
Yeah, he says it's the easiest thing to find in the human body because, like mad cow disease, it's a protein that, like, even if you've had people ever in your life, it just shows up in your body and it changes you. It alters your DNA. It fucks with you.
I thought it was that's the brain. If you don't eat the brain, you're okay. Because I researched this kind of a lot. I don't know why. I just kind of went down a weird internet hole one day. Prion disease, proteins unfolding incorrectly. It's mostly found in the brain tissue. Kuru, I think, is what certain tribes call it. There's more scientific names, but it leads to possibly the worst way I can think of dying, which is fatal insomnia. Like, it starts with the handshakes. You ever see the movie The Book of Eli?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the cannibals have their hands shake. That's based on a real thing. But it comes from brain tissue, not just like meat. Yeah, sorry, Paige,
sure
go on.
It's just brains, because I think if you be munching on a leg or something, like, it's gonna come out. It's gonna show up in the blood work.
People are gonna notice. Like,
yeah, you know,
you've been eating people, how can you tell?
Yeah,
you definitely at least have bad vibes. Like,
his vibes are off.
I mean, 100%. I feel like if we got meat from, West Taiwan or something, that it would probably have, bodies in it somewhere. You're like, oh, it's okay, just some extra protein. It's like prisoner protein from the labor camps, and you're just eating some people and horse meat, maybe some dog. I don't know. I feel like that somewhere along the line, that shit's probably trickled its way in somewhere. Some Cloud Atlas shit.
See, here's the thing. Like, Lucas, you're a worldly man, but
Indeed.
I mean, in Britain, do you hear about junkies being this fucking like off the wall? Because
No.
I don't. Usually they're just strung out like at the edge of town, like by the parking lot as you're walking in town. They're like, hey, got any change? You're like, no, fuck off,
Yeah,
get a
the
job.
junkies right here just like hang out around McDonald's going, do you have €2 for a hot? No, don't run. No.
Well, what does
That's all we
junkie
have.
mean there? Like,
It-
what
it-
drug?
Again, it's the drug. It's heroin. They're all on heroin.
Okay, because out here
we
they're
don't have
on.
hyped up motherfuckers being like, fucking, yeah, you run, I'll fucking chase you. Let's fucking go, bitch. Like, we have like the ones that are like, Jesus, will you come?
Just fucked up.
Like,
The ones you can just trip and make your way where you need to go if it's, that bad of a problem. No, I get that.
No one's afraid of them. They're just kind of sad. But in the US, it's like they're all like hopped up on Nazi pills, like all that fucking meth out there.
Fentanyl, like,
Yeah.
people don't realize too. This is something. So I have a lot of understanding of how the drug trades work in especially Northern California and stuff. And you'll have these kids who will be at raves and they'll be all, oh, I'm doing MDMA, I'm doing ecstasy, I have this. I'm like, no, you're not. I mean, you're getting meth crushed with Sudafed.
Seriously.
It's literally fucking, this is why baby formula was on lockdown. People were all complaining, oh, baby formula's on lock. It's like, yeah, because it's used all the time in drugs. It's used to cut drugs with. So people will cut
I did
fentanyl.
not know that.
Yeah, baby formula is used for that a lot. So people will, it's a safe quote unquote thing to ingest. The body absorbs it quicker and whatever. But people will think that they're doing cocaine, and anything like north of like the lower belt of the United States of America, unless you have a lot of money or enough drugs to pH test them to make sure that what you're getting is in fact matching what you think it is that you have, you getting meth and fucking baby aspirin. Like, that's just, you ain't getting real shit. So all these people saying, oh, I would never touch that stuff. I just do MDMA. I just do ecstasy. I'm like, bitch, you're doing meth. And there's just no way around it. You're doing meth. And then there's glorified meth, like Adderall, so it's like, there's always some Right there, you have your fentanyl or whatever, or your special heroin is dilaudid. So they've got medical grade heroin out there too. But as far as like street drugs, people who think that they have what they do, you don't. I promise you don't. Unless you have enough money or you're running the operation yourself, you do not know what you're getting. Hit straight up.
You hear that, kids? Stick with natural stuff that grows out of the ground.
Yeah, grow your own pot. Like, whatever. Fucking, you're going to do it. Just grow your weed leaf. Be happy. Quit doing hard drugs. It's not good for anyone.
Oh, pills scare the absolute shit out of me because you have no fucking clue what you're getting.
Yeah. Like these days, it's fucking wild. Everything is.
You can make pills like at home very easy. Like it's so like the shit you're getting off the fucking internet is probably made in someone's bathroom very easily.
Yeah. What was the? I like kind of tinfoil hat schizo ranting. I actually think fentanyl is like an act of war. I think.
Whoa! Do you think it's domestic act of war, like CIA fuckery, or do you think it's like foreign, like Chinese culture?
Chinese.
Why not both?
Yeah,
it very well could be.
Like, think about it. Well, most of our fentanyl comes from China. It goes to the cartels and it comes up through the southern borders. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that, even like the cartels, which are historically brutal, why are they killing the people that they...
Their customers?
It's business 101. Killing your customers and also creating an aversion for the drugs that you're selling is bad for business.
Yeah,
but...
Not necessarily. So when a drug is really hard, you'd think it would do that, but it just sensationalizes it. And people go, holy fuck, that's so crazy, but it probably won't happen to me. That shit sounds strong. And then they go for it. So having a drug that sounds that insane, like when we had a bad batches of acid that went through a bunch of spots in my hometown. And there was like a warning out they put in the newspaper. And all the people I knew who sold acid, their sales went through the roof. And it's just, it's a weird hysteria. It's like anything. Fear sells. Fear equals consumerism 100% of the time.
I like how you're casually like, my acid dealer friends were seeing great business growth.
It's just like Humboldt County, like that's just how people made their money. Everyone, you could go door to door and 1 in 3 people will have pot in their, like will be growing something in their house. It's just like that, or making mushrooms or making acid or making meth or whatever. It's just, it's that prolific. It's crazy.
Jesus.
So yeah, I've talked to so many people out there who've done now, even after having left there and finding out, you think I knew things are bad, and then you leave and you're like, whoa. And then you talk to people who are on the underside, you're really like, whoa, like what's this tiny, up until recently, Eureka barely had a population of over 30,000 people. A majority plus of that just being tweakers. But they have a federal courthouse there, and, FBI, the FBI headquarters out there, and all kinds of shit, and a bunch of, you're like, why are there all these military bases? This is crazy. And we've got a nuclear power plant that's quote unquote decommissioned and whatever else. So it's a little wild out there. But I think I agree with you though, Nathan, that it's definitely a war, but the war isn't the war on drugs. It's just pick your drug. Is it social media? Yeah. Is it everyone's neurodivergent and everyone's autistic and everyone's this now? So take the meds, do the thing, don't work out. If you're one of the people right now who's only scrolling on their phone and hasn't been to a gym or done anything to eat a fucking like fresh vegetable or piece of meat in the last, few weeks, you're a part of that. The war is on, I think, keeping everyone complacent. It's complacency and fear. Yeah. It's powerful to be able to do that to people. We discovered that in MK Ultra.
Still going on, man.
I'm facing a very 100%. Interesting issue where like the more I kind of talk to other people, and like I'm not fucking struck my own dick here saying like I'm incredibly fucking successful or anything, but like I have shit I want to do. I've got general goals in life. I work hard at shit, and like speaking to some people, like it just immediately turns them off the minute they're like, what do you do? And you're like, oh, I do this and this. And then you're like, what about you? And they're just like, oh yeah, not much really. Just watch the football. You're like,
yeah.
All right.
Oh man.
And like, it's not, I'm happy to talk to them about that shit, but it's like they're actively annoyed, like not annoyed, but they like, you see them actively lose interest, like in speaking to you. The minute you say
you're
you do
ambitious.
shit. Yeah. It's
Some people get
like,
offended by ambition, and I don't
They do.
understand that.
Yeah.
It's because it evokes self-reflection, right? It's when you see people who, I mean, we've had many of them on this podcast who are, quote unquote, an influencer in a place where they got to where they are, and people will hate them just because of the idea that they've made of them. And they're just like, oh yeah, fuck this guy. It's like anytime someone's had any sort of military credential and goes on to do something, someone's always screaming about stolen valor. And I'm like, I think you're just envious that someone's doing something that you wanted to do. Like, you don't quit investing so much. If I really don't like something or I'm not interested in it, I just move the fuck on.
Yeah.
Most people do. Like it's like scrolling past something on the menu you don't want to eat. You're like, oh, that doesn't sound good. I don't care. I don't like avocados or whatever. And it's like, you move on. But when it comes to this, people will hyper fixate on how much they hate something to make a point of that. And I'm like, oh, you're really interested.
I think people are addicted to feeling angry. Like it's
yeah, I've got a friend recently actually like this where I've been getting kind of honestly burnt out talking to them because it's just like every day. Did you see this thing about Hunter Biden's like thing? Did you see this thing about what? And I'm like, bro, I literally do not care. Like I repeatedly explained to him. I said like, you're spending all this time and energy focusing on this shit, and you can do absolutely nothing about it. Like do anything else. Like, this is a dude who's meant to be running a business. I'm like, go focus on that. Go do that shit, because what you're doing here is of absolutely zero benefit to you. If anything, it's detrimental because it's distracting you from shit you should be doing. But I think that's part of it too. I think people focus on shit and they get like outraged about stuff, and they because they it's a distraction, and it means that focusing on that and talking about that means they don't have to worry about the shit they know that they really should be doing, and so they can just go like, oh yeah, but I'm really invested in this right now, and this is a topic I want to talk, and then like it's just like absolute bullshit that like in no way either affects them or they can do anything about.
Well, it's just, it's armchair speculation. It's the fat fuck on the couch screaming about how someone on the football field or baseball field isn't doing this thing, or that Olympian isn't doing this thing. And you look at them and you look at what they're yelling at, and you can't do better. Like, fuck off. Like, doesn't mean that just because you can't do better doesn't mean that I think we're still allowed to have opinions or formulate, criticisms about things. But that being said, just to your point of someone just being angry and ambition, it's a self-reflection thing. It's a catalyst. They see someone else's success, and you see this in relationships even. People will have partners where someone's doing something and they immediately feel an ickiness about that person or that friend, and they have to be like, yeah, well, I'm just being a devil's advocate and offering all these caveats rather than just being happy for their fucking friend or their partner or whoever. And I mean, shit, I've had these behaviors in my life where something says something and it'll sit with me for a second. I was like, wow, why do I have such a negative emotional response to this immediately? Like, when I think about it, like, why do I need to shut that down? Like, oh, I'm sorry, that was a dick thing to say. Like, no, I think that's awesome. Like, that's my own shit to work through,
You're 100% right, especially, but like, that's all completely dead on. But it always blew my mind when people do that in a relationship, because I'm like, surely you should be happy if you're like you should be seeing it as like, a partnership, and that like if your partner's doing well, then you should be happy because it means you're both doing well. And that, but like people like that, they do seem to get jealous of their partner within a relationship, which I always find insane.
Yeah, like career competitiveness and stuff. It's like, no, this is good for us, not just for you. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh man, that just sits poorly with me. I dated a girl a long time ago who like went to art school and whatnot, and not to complain too much, but I remember when I started doing this, we were still talking, like we were friends afterwards, and she kept on asking me like, oh, how's art doing? How's the thing doing? And when this started to pick up, she asked how I was doing. I said like, hey, it's actually doing pretty well. I've transitioned to making it my full-time job. And she tells me, please don't talk about this anymore. I feel like you stole my dream. Like, oh, what?
Whoa.
Like, sounds like a skill issue once again.
Yeah. This is why I date men.
I actually, like, at that point, like, we were still friendly, but I just stopped talking to her.
Yeah, I had this issue recently. I did like TLDR. I teach students certain aspects of marketing, and like it helps a lot of them. And they send me very nice messages about stuff that I did that helps and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this person said this, like it's great. No, and they'd be like, oh, everybody just loves you, don't they? I'm like, yeah, pretty much, because I'm really nice.
Yeah.
You should try it. It's great.
Yeah,
I've had some really backhand. You get some backhanded shit from people that way too. I've had someone. It's funny. There's some people in proximity of me who have to make a point to constantly tell me how much they don't care about names and how much they're just doing their art for themselves. All these things. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, bro. Like, yeah, but I don't care about anybody. I'm like, oh, you seem to really care about how much you don't care about things. Like, it's the people
of effort
that you bring it up every time you have a
when
conversation.
When someone does that, when it's like it's clearly bait like that, I cannot leave it alone, and I immediately will be like, I'll be like, wow, sounds like a recipe to be broke forever. Great job. Like.
No, I get so it's funny. I was talking to Mike and I we were just hanging out not terribly long ago, and we had a chat about that. People saying like, oh, they're just chasing the clout, and he's like, who the fuck isn't? That is literally being successful. Is you have to do the thing that gets people to look at the thing, and it's like, who the fuck is like, oh, they're just clout chasing. He's like, yeah. Who the fuck isn't? In an industry where your livelihood depends on the views of others and catering to an audience with, making content that you believe in, yeah, you have to find what that means. Clout doesn't mean riding coattails. It doesn't necessarily mean, like, that has many forms, but it's funny. He's like, no, fuck that. Everyone's chasing clout. Like, that's literally being successful in any business, is being noticed in what you're doing.
Well, I think, and this is kind of how I view it, there's a difference between as you define chasing clout and how it's often defined as like being fake, doing things for attention. I think you can be genuine to yourself and get attention without really looking for it, or while looking for it, or you can, be an asshole, make controversy for the sake of doing exactly that, just getting views. There are ways to do things like an asshole, and there's ways to do things while being true to yourself.
I almost disagree with that, because we know so many people who have to be someone, they're a persona, and their persona is what everyone loves online. Like playing
I'm not saying that you, like, having a persona makes you an asshole. I don't think that putting on a face on, like, I put on a face when I meet people.
I was meaning the fake aspect was all, just to the note.
Oh, no, I mean that in like a negative context, and there's positive context as well. Everyone does.
That's fair.
Yeah, like when I say fake, you don't have to be genuine all the time, and no one is.
Well, I'll be honest. I would imagine that all of us pretty much often exaggerate our opinions on here, even just for comedic effect. I
100%.
do it constantly. I just talked about killing homeless people with Ball-Peen Hammers. I don't actually want to do that.
I do.
It's a funny idea, so I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think to your point though of disingenuine, I almost think disingenuine can be acceptable at times. But
I agree.
Just from what I've seen, because I understand people needing to guard themselves, but if maybe what I'm understanding is like that definition, which I do agree with, is someone having malicious or subversive intent. Like, don't hide being transactional. I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but you don't need to be friends with all of your fucking colleagues or peers or business partners. You can be friendly, and you don't have to be friends. You can have really awesome, open, trusting relationships with people and never say anything bad about anyone fucking else. You don't have to be best friends or family with someone you just met who doesn't meet that criteria. That creates a really gross low pool of what it means to be in that. So I guess on that note, like, I see people who try to be all like, oh yeah, what's up? Like, we're family, we're so close for this. And it's like, I don't know you. You don't know me.
There's one thing I always hated was like jobs that tried to be like, we're a family.
I hate that. The second I see that, I turn off. Like,
a red flag.
Yeah.
In what world someone's like, okay, we're a family. Okay, what that says to me is that we emotionally abuse and take advantage of each other and do so unapologetically and don't report anything to HR because no one cares because we're family owned. So it's like, corporate sucks. I think we talked about this on the Delta Magna podcast a long time ago about like art and stuff in business. And for having a small business, like a family-owned business, you are welcomed with flexibility and being able to maybe change certain things or have certain permissions or define your own role. But that really sucks constantly living in the gray area when it comes for work. Like, that's terrible. Yeah, the family aspect is toxic. Anyway, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent there, but I hate that so much.
Well, I mean, if we want to change out of career stuff, I mean, Nathan, you've just got like a national tour. This is probably the most states you've seen in one go, right?
Yeah, I saw like half. So my route was basically like, God, so through Maine to there's so many states. I don't remember. I'm going to miss like half.
I
There's a
went
lot
from
of
the
them.
right side to the
There's
left
over
side.
50 of them. How am I supposed to keep track of this many? I went from the right side to the bottom to the left side.
The right side of the bottom to the left side.
That's some
Yeah.
great geography.
Yes. No, I went through Maine to North Carolina, and then just from North Carolina headed straight west and kind of like cut a diagonal line across the country to where I currently am in Idaho, and it's nice.
And now we're practically neighbors.
Yeah, we are. That's yeah. We can.
Why
go
did you
do
choose
activities?
Idaho?
I like Idaho. Actually, it's kind of been like
Because even that surprised me. I would have thought like Texas or some shit. Why did you choose Idaho?
it's nice. It's not at all what you would expect. It's and you know, oh god. So my mom, she texted me while I was in Memphis asking, "Hey, like where are you?" And I said, "I'm in Memphis, Tennessee."
I don't know.
And she sends me a message being like, my parents are, and I've brought it up before, very CNN liberal. So she sends me a message like, don't get killed by, racist rednecks. They're going to get you because, you're Canadian driving a Prius. And I just sent her a picture of my gun.
Right, no worries.
It's okay. I have the means to protect myself, mother.
Yes. She
I
did
will not
also-
be hate
I
crimes.
also like how apparently like Canadian was the reason you're going to get hate crime, not the fact that you're half
they
Asian.
hate crime you for being Canadian. They're like, those Nova Scotia plates, boy.
Those moose loving motherfuckers come down here taking our jobs.
Come here, you maple syrup fuck.
I mean, you drive through certain neighborhoods and it's like, if you don't meet the paint chip spectrum of color, like you don't belong in that neighborhood. Get out.
Oh, yeah. There is no moment in my life I've ever felt in more danger than driving through New York. Genuinely.
Oh yeah, New York's a shithole, dude.
Dude, I told BR, and I think I showed you a video. I passed
Oh, the
4
driving?
burning wrecks on the highway. Not one,
Yeah.
4. Like, car engulfed in flame. There were no survivors. Everyone fucking died. It was the point, and I'm not a particularly good driver. I don't think I'm a bad driver. I've never really, been in an accident or anything. But there I am, like the speed limit's 55, I'm doing 60, and cars are like blazing by me on both sides doing 110. No, I can see why so many people die on the freeway each day. It was supposed to be an 8-hour drive that day. It took 14. And this, yeah. Most of the drivers I saw basically everywhere else, except with the exception of like Atlanta and Texas, were pretty good. But rural Kansas, I liked. You can tell a lot about a town though by like how many domestic violence hotline ads there are, and there were kind of a lot. Yeah.
Well, there's nothing else to do.
That means they care.
It means they care. It means they care. The road was paved with used condoms. It was a time. I actually really liked Kansas, except for that part.
I haven't
But,
made
yeah.
my way out to Kansas yet. I like Arkansas a lot for sure.
I hate Arkansas.
Really?
I did not like the people there. They feel like they're from the fucking 1940s and not the the idolized part, like the real scummy bad news part of the 1940s.
Oh yeah, you drove through there on your road trip, didn't you?
Yep. Those motherfuckers are not cool.
Yeah, no.
I
not
do
even.
know that there are some spots where, at least in the South, if you get pulled over by like an officer, you
Yeah.
better be yes sir, no sir, because let me tell you, sir, they'll take you right out of your car and give you a who and a what for.
Just hang you from the nearest tree.
Oh God, it's wild.
Yeah, no. Actually, in my entire life, I'd never been pulled over until Maine. So someone got
That's the
me.
craziest thing too.
Yeah, no. I drive a Prius. Like I'm invisible. I could probably be. I was speeding pretty bad. I was doing 75 in a 45.
Oh, dude, I've hauled so many
surprised you could
drugs
go
in a
that quick.
Prius, reformed, but ultimately, like that's where no one catches you and you have fucking. You're just like, oh shit, we're driving. There's a bunch of weed in the back. No one's gonna stop because you've got glasses on and you're in a Prius.
Yeah, your Prius was probably sagging from the body armor and guns in it. Like,
But yeah, he let me off with a warning, probably because it was really, really hard to give a ticket to someone from another country. But in actuality, it was like Silent Hill fog. I had no idea what the speed limit was. I was just kind of going.
Dude, some of the fog out here gets so fucking bad, especially where you're at in Idaho. So,
oh man, yeah, no, driving here was wild. Like I
the coast and it's fuck, man. I was driving through Idaho last winter at some point, and there are some roads where it's not. The highway isn't just like a big interstate. It's like you'll end up going down just kind of a 2-lane road for a while, and it's super flat, right?
Yeah.
So when it's flat like that, and it's foggy, and it's snowing, and you're the only one on the road because it's late at night, there are no tire tracks to follow. There's nothing. There was, for the first time in my life, I was straight up just using GPS to determine that my vehicle, I was just hoping GPS was right because Jax and I are in the car and I'm cruising and there's no way to tell where the road stops and the horizon begins. It was gnarly. It's sketchy. I'm like, well, we can't stop here because it's going to be cold and we got to get home. So, but yeah, it's pretty wild out there. You got to be safe cruising. We didn't expect the snow to hit like that when we were going through, or for it to be, it just kind of rolled in. But those flat spots out there, like Idaho's beautiful. But yeah, it's some sketchy winter weather.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, driving through the mountains, it was great. Like, don't get me wrong, I really liked it, but it got sketchy at night. Same with Utah. I visited a couple people on the way, like spent time with my friend from Dead Air. Went to Flux Defense, which was pretty fucking cool. Good guys there. And Broperator time in Denver. Maybe we should censor. No, he's not private at all. But the worst was definitely driving through the mountains. It's some of the most fun I've ever had driving, but at night it's entirely full of deer and they don't give a fuck. Like they just run out.
The deer anywhere rural, like they will just obliterate your fucking car. They don't care.
Yeah. No, they're
all suicidal.
They're all suicidal.
Yeah, they don't. Oh my God. I've had so many friends or family members like hit deer. The deer just go right through the fucking windshield. Like, unless you're in a semi and that thing's just getting ripped to the grate, like you're toast. It's not gonna, deer will fucking kill you from just letting you kill them. Yeah.
I did notice the further south I went, the smaller the deer got. Like, around you, BR, like the deer were dog sized. I kind of wanted to just pick one up and like throw it in my trunk and have a friend.
It wouldn't have had the space for your gear back there.
Oh my God!
Some buff deer in the Pacific Northwest. Holy shit!
I just want to reiterate, like your Prius looked like a homeless operator was on the move. It was incredible. Look at the back. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, no! I can't imagine pulling you over and then just seeing like stacks and stacks and stacks of camo and like plate carriers and shit, and being like,
oh, what? Like, who are you?
And the Nova Scotia plates.
Yeah, like, can you step out of the car, please? And I get out and just like empty cans of fucking Ghost energy drink just spill everywhere.
Like 2 hours of sleep.
Like, oh my God, no. Towards the end, there were a couple times where I saw God. I had to stop. Like there was one time I was on the way.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry. I text Nathan and he just sent me photos or videos and he's like actively driving while texting me, having a full conversation. He's just like, yeah, no, it's pretty cool here. And since we have videos, he's driving down a fucking like mountainside. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's called fucking text to speech.
I don't think Snapchat has that.
No, not on Snapchat. I did indeed text and drive you a couple times. That was dumb. I've been driving for 14 hours.
You from the movie Extraction 2. So, like...
I did admittedly tell you I'm not going to watch this until I'm stopped.
Fair. Oh, so that's where you drew the line. You'll text
that's where
your
I draw
friends,
the line. I'm not going to watch.
But you won't watch a movie.
Yeah.
One day I'm gonna text Nathan and he's just gonna be like respond like he's gonna cut off mid text message, and I'll realize that he's just clearly killed the
I just got annihilated. Like
Yeah.
I actually I saw a god in my drive to Denver, where I'd been driving for like 13 hours, and suddenly I opened my eyes and I'm like a foot away from hitting an 18-wheeler doing 80. Yeah, no, that was really bad. So I had to stop, and Jorge called me, and we just talked the rest of the way to his place.
Have you been in a bad car accident yet, Nathan?
No, I haven't been in any. When I was in Dubai, I got in a bit of an accident, but that's it. But I wasn't driving.
Best
I was
knock
in a
on
taxi.
wood, boy. You in America now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we do car accidents for lunch.
Yeah.
Like it's just a
It
daily
does seem
occurrence.
that way. It seems extremely. I've been in one car accident, but like that was like a long time ago. But it seems like in America, it seems very constant.
It's very common, and once you see the drivers here, it's like, oh, that.
Well, it's
that
because
occurs.
we actually have one of the, I mean, short of third world countries, like we have pretty shit requirements for actually getting a driver's license. On
Yeah.
top of that, many people don't actually get driver's licenses and they don't have insurance, even though it's illegal to do that.
Imagine doing that.
Yeah, and so many people,
Imagine driving illegally.
It's just like, and it's such a fucked up system because I've had friends who've been T-boned at traffic lights and the person just drives away and they don't have insurance. They're like, yeah, I don't have insurance. And they leave.
Oh yeah,
And there's nothing they can do. Car's stolen, no insurance, tweaker hits them, and then they're just out for the bill and they got to deal with it.
Yeah, admittedly, that
just
happened to
waiting
me
for
in
Lucas.
Halifax. My buddy's Miata got hit. I was in the passenger seat at the time, and it was a tweaker who stole his mom's car, and he didn't have insurance. Like he gets out of the car, and it's this like lanky guy. He looks like he's strung out, and he's got a "fuck the police" tattooed in his forearm.
Based.
Based. Stealing his mom's car though, that part decidedly a lot less based. I felt very bad for her.
That was my first. Like after getting out of the airport in LA, my first time ever going to LA. We were coming out of the rental place. We pull out of the parking lot, immediately get T-boned by someone running a red light, and they just kind of like look at us, and we're like, "What the fuck?" And then like we start to get out of the car. They immediately jump back in and drive off, and we're like, "Oh, cool, LA, nice."
I know, aside from me, I know two people that have been driving on a learner's permit for over a decade, where it is illegal in Ireland to drive with a learner's permit without a licensed driver in the car with you.
Got a picture of them with like acne in their picture, and they're like in their 30s.
Literally, I know someone with exactly that. The funniest thing was one of them gets pulled over by the police, and here, if they catch you with this, they're meant to like take your vehicle and shit. And the police officer takes his license and like runs it, and he comes back and he goes, 11 years you've been on this. He's like, yeah. And he goes, fucking sort that out. Gives him back his license and let him go. He was just like, he's like, you can clearly drive. You've been doing it for 11 years. Well, come on. And he was like, yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's kind of how it is in the US at the minute with car registrations, because fucked. Oh great, I gotta censor that now. Like the pandemic fucked everyone up on registration and stuff, so most people don't really give a shit. I keep on seeing like annoying shit pop up on Reddit where people post someone's outdated registration. It's like, no one fucking cares, dude.
Fuck registering your fucking car. Fuck that
Seriously.
shit. Fuck that shit. Fuck you guys. You gotta pay taxes on your goddamn taxes. Fuck you. I'm not registering my car. You know how many times I've been pulled over for a car not being registered now? Plenty. You know how many bills we paid for it? 0. Fuck them.
People don't give a fuck. Like, you would need to find like a proper piece of shit cop who would pull you over and like ruin your day for that.
Well,
I've been driving on expired tags for a hot minute now, and I've had cops right behind me. I'm like, great, here we go. And nothing. I'm like,
well, for a while,
wow.
At least they just didn't bother because there were more important things. I was honestly a little surprised when it started happening at a certain point, but like out here, there was a campaign that people with vehicles that were unregistered were disproportionately marginalized groups. So they basically told people in certain areas, just don't pull someone over because the likelihood of them being marginalized is high. So it was counted as profiling. They were literally counted as profiling for pulling people over for expired registration.
Driving
Or,
your
like, tail
unregistered
lights out.
car in blackface to avoid a fine.
Actually legal in Canada, funnily enough.
The first thing I did when I crossed the border was just buy a tin of shoe polish and a bunch of red lipstick.
God damn
The
it.
cobble's over here like, you want to do this? You really want to be on the news? He's like, no.
Like, we can escalate this, officer. Open your jacket to the Black Lives Matter shit.
Was it cute one of those memes where it's like sweating and it's like me going for the officer's gun or whatever, reaching for the officer's weapon?
The little sticky hand.
Yeah, the T-Rex grabby arm.
Yes. No,
I can't help myself. Okay.
I want that avoidance of marginalized group stuff to apply to Glock switches. If we could get that, that would be great.
I've seen what they do to people in inner cities of Chicago. I just want that for me.
A life hack though on registration, just before I forget, I think there's a couple of states, one of them being Pennsylvania, that they don't give you tags. Like once you register your plates, they're just registered. And so I have a couple of people I know from Pennsylvania who live over here, and they've never registered their car in 12 years.
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
I'm like, that's so smart. That's so
a good
smart.
life hack.
Yeah.
So smart.
That is very, very clever.
I know. I love it. I'm ready to just get property. I don't know how much it is. I think registering cars in Idaho is kind of expensive too, but the real trick
like
is
the tax is surprisingly bad here. I thought it'd be less.
You didn't look into that before you moved.
Oh no, you should know, Nathan. He didn't look up where the face fucking is. He just started driving.
Genuinely, that was one of the many things when I'm like, oh, Nathan's moving to the US. I'm so curious about his process for like picking a state.
A cop, he's like, where are you going? And Nathan's like, left.
Like in all likelihood, Nathan just threw a dart at the map and was like, yeah, there we go.
Oh my god! So when I got pulled over by that fucking guy, he looks in my backseat and he's like, "What's all this?" And I just look at him and I go, "I'm going to Comic-Con."
Oh yeah, amongst Nathan's tactical gear, he has like a full Doom suit.
That's believable then, yeah.
Yeah, I've been rigging gear to it, like pouches, and I'm putting a holster on. I'm going to shoot like a 3-gun match in it. I swear to God.
Yes.
Sick.
Like it's going to suck. It's very hard to move in, but it looks dope. So.
Dude, I'm gonna do we're going to finish Brutality in August, and I don't even. It's gonna fight. I know it's gonna kick my ass, and naturally, I feel people would be let down if I didn't do the cosplay portion, which will probably be low hanging fruit as me and my tiger onesie. But either way, it'll be very hot and difficult to move in. So
full Sailor Moon.
No, what? No, I don't want to look. Wigs are a problem. Because if you have a wig on, like it's long hair that you can't feel if it's pulling. So that gets tangled on shit and can be really dangerous.
Nathan, just fucking builder a fucking full-on Transformer Bumblebee.
I've already made a full-scale Gundam costume and I have my own Halo suit. So it's like I have that shit.
Halo suit. New Halo suit.
Yeah, it's not very mobile. Like I want to be.
I have one too. They are not, but still.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Everyone got Spawn armor? What the fuck?
What the fuck's wrong with you?
I would love some recon. I got that shit back in like 2008. I want it again.
Well, good thing we set up your fucking 3D printer.
My shit's a Resin-Cast Mjolnir fucking Mark IV, whatever the hell. It's fucking badass.
We all need to go shoot like a match in our shit.
I did a Mark V helmet and a air assault suit from Cat because it was the only one that like fit. Made sense for proportions for tits. So
how the fuck do all of us have like Halo armor?
Because
this is a complete coincidence.
Well, I'm the only one lacking. This sucks. I have FOMO.
BR, I will help you.
To be fair, I need to get my I never finished all of my suit. I have lots of pieces that I put for it, but I never put it all together how I wanted to. So I'll revisit it at some point and actually put in the effort to do it. It's a lot of work.
It's like 9% of cosplays, so you always get like 9% of the way with it, and they're like, I gotta fucking get a new belt, and fuck this.
Yeah,
I don't mind the fit. Just doing that. It was my first time ever using. There's a program called Pepakura that I used.
Yeah. Oh fuck, I hate Pepakura.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome. It was really hard. Like my fingers literally got blisters from cutting so much for all the little lines. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it basically takes your a 3D image of something. You can scale it to whatever you want it to be. Then it takes that 3D image and creates a sort of lower poly form of it, not super low poly, but just creates foldable dimensions. So like if you're a kid and ever cut out pieces of paper to build a cube, it's like that, but for grownups. And you print it on cardstock. That's 80-pound cardstock to 100-pound cardstock, so that it's really dense. And then that cardstock is then cut and glued into shape. And then you take that cardstock and you dip it in a Bondo resin mixture, a 50-50, that is used with fiberglass cloth to create a really tight mesh so you can like sand and paint. It's basically building a car shell.
And it's
out
the
of
worst
paper.
thing in the fucking world. It's awful. And
Yeah, I'm in the process of doing my Mandalorian armor at the moment. I'm just 3D printing everything. I cannot be fucking bothered.
Yeah,
to,
now
Yeah.
3D printing's amazing. Like I
3D printing
I
made it
really would
obsolete,
like to
thankfully.
do that.
Yeah. Well, good thing I live close to you now because I've been doing it
I
since
mean,
like
ish. I don't know how many hours away we are. You'll have to text me your actual address so I can see what that is.
a fuckload closer than we
Yeah, I
were.
mean, certainly closer than Canada. That's for damn sure. And the flights are real short and pretty cheap coming over this way too. So,
Yeah.
which is
I'm
nice.
pretty sure. Hold on. Yeah. I'm closer than I was when I was visiting Coeur d'Alene.
You know what is a good news though now is that we've got BR, myself, and dear Lucas, and it's basically 3 adults with a doodle cat, and Nathan is the doodle cat, and so the 3 of us are going to be able to be like, Nathan, you get to go be like, yay, and draw pictures, and then we get to be like, cool, and this is what needs to happen, and so now everything's just going to be going so good. It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
Doodle cat doesn't have to think. Doodle
I don't
cat
have
can
to
just
think.
shoot
Just
guns and doodle pictures. Yay, doodle cat.
Where did that phrase come from? I've heard that before somewhere.
What, doodle cat? I don't
Yes.
know. I
Maybe
like
you just
doodle.
made it
I've got a
up.
couple
Maybe.
doodle cats.
Yeah.
There's I know of Party Cat. I don't know of Doodle Cat. There's Doodle Bob from SpongeBob. It's probably who you're thinking of.
Probably. That's probably it.
Doodle Bob was goated. For anyone who doesn't know.
What the fuck is Doodle Bob?
Just all right. Just when you take a moment, just go later and YouTube the Doodle Bob clip. It was unhinged. It was crazy. It was like Harold and his purple crayon, but meth.
Oh yes, no, I definitely saw this once upon a time.
Yeah, it's awesome. That'll just be my next cosplay. Or I'm just gonna paint a piece of cardboard and put Doodle Bob on it, and they'll be like, "There it is, top tier
Close enough.
cosplay."
Do finish brutality with that.
Yeah, there you go. Jax is gonna go black metal, I think, because there's all this. There's something called Finnish black metal. That's literally just corpse painted faces, like hard shit. Man, that seems cool. So I can't just go like hot goth girlfriend with like corpse paint face, or tiger onesie, and it's kind of a toss up. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't know, like the tiger onesie with the Buckies posing, like that went pretty hard. I won't
I
lie. That's
know.
fucking
an
love
album
Buc-ee's.
cover right there. Dude, I love me and Nathan got a pic when we were down in Texas together. We got a picture in front of Bucky's doing like album pose. I love it.
I love Bucky's so much. I now see like we had that conversation. It's like how the
Yeah,
fuck
why no one
does a
shuts the
gas
fuck
station-
up about it once they go?
Yeah. I was thinking that, like, how the fuck does a gas station have like a fan club? How is this such a
You know
thing?
what Bucky's is the church of America. It's the
Yeah.
only real church. It's the only church we really need. Let's be honest. Like if
the
Buc-ee's
minute I
had,
stepped
like-
into Bucky's, it's like I get it now. I'm part of this club.
God, I live way too far away from Bucky's, but that's okay. I
Yeah.
go visit there every time I go there.
Wait, Lucas, do you understand? Are you familiar with Bucky's?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well,
There will come a time.
Is it like it sounds like something like fucking Wawa or something?
No, it's God's gas station with the finest pumps you've ever seen. The cleanest store. You could lick the fucking floors in there
It's
and
wild.
probably cure your sickness. It's so nice. It's just a wonderful place. They have an island of forever food that always
Yeah.
happens. It's a
Lucas,
magical
remember
world.
when you visited me and you're like marveling over the size of all the department stores and things like that? It's basically the same comparison between the stores in Nova Scotia versus the stores in Ireland. It is massive. It is like the
Jesus.
Costco of gas stations.
it
is.
is a silly big gas station.
Yeah.
Gas stations don't need to be
ridiculous.
that
And they have
big.
100 pumps out front at like every one. I
Yeah,
think.
it is obscene. Like you
It
pull up to it and you're
sounds
like, what the
inconvenient.
fuck? It is. I mean, the amount of people when we went in, it was humming.
My
Like
favorite part, I'm there at 5 o'clock in the morning because we were up all night together, a group of us, and they were just looking at. They have like deer fucking hunting kit tents and stuff, like deer tents and everything else just out front. I'm like, oh yeah, buy the Buc-ee's deer tent. You're like,
oh yeah, it's a gas station that you can buy red dots at.
Yeah,
like,
you can walk into the Buc-ee's and like buy a freshly made beef brisket sandwich from one of their many like internal restaurants, and then go buy an entire set of Buc-ee's brand patio chairs.
Can you call them restaurants? They're just like these magical food distributors. Like you have like the case of all the jerky, just jerky by the pound of all these flavors, these wonderful flavors of meat. Oh,
it's possibly my favorite thing about America so far.
I'm getting the meat sweats just thinking about it.
Like I got chicken fajita like 3 a.m. on the way to the airport, like fresh. It was insane. I was like, I shouldn't trust this, but I will because I've only heard good things.
No, this is now a Buc-ee's shilling podcast.
Yeah, we should stop talking about them because they don't pay us. If we will continue if you start paying us, Buc-ee's, but for now, you cut off.
I have a Becky's I made. I like turned the Buc-ee's logo into a cute girl, and I put on my Patreon. I'll post it at some point. It came out. I'll have to send it to you guys in chat so you can see it.
Dude, they recently on Twitter so they said initially we're not changing our logo for June. And then, like a few days later, they posted one where they had Pepe in it. Like, so if that tells you anything,
was that real?
Yes, it was. I promise you, this was on their main page.
Unbelievably based. Oh, I love Buc-ee's. Oh man.
Yeah, and when you're in line for the restrooms in there, they have like "come and take it" and "don't tread on me" kind of artwork on the walls, like canvases for sale.
That trucker art.
Yeah, it is. It is wild.
That's
incredible. You would not see anything even close to it outside of the US.
The very first thing that I saw when I walked into Buc-ee's, like it basically hit me in the face because I was marveling and just walking blindly, was a shirt that said "God, Guns, and Chocolate" in like the "Live, Love, Last" font, and it was pink.
So good.
America.
I love truck stops. They're just like, they're the best place and when you're traveling through America to go to. Like next time you come through, Lucas, if you're cruising on the road for a while, truck stops are usually, you'd be like, oh, these truck stops, like not lots, stops. The stops are always really fucking clean. They've got like showers in them, nice shit. Like, all the truckers come in, they got to do stuff. It's like, if you're stuck on the road and you got to go somewhere to have like a clean shitter and a place to literally shower, shit, and shave, it's pretty lit.
Sounds sick.
Yeah, I fuck with that.
We have like smaller versions of that in Ireland. There's like the ones like showers and shit like that, but they're not very nice.
Well, Ireland's not very big.
No, it's not. It's hilariously small. Like I have like friends in America that will like drive 6 hours every weekend to see their parents or some shit, and I'm like, that would be like going across all of Ireland.
Yeah.
My favorite comparison I've ever heard between Europe and Americans is that people in America think 200 years is a long time, and people in Europe think 200 miles is a long ways.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah,
because I'm used to taking day trips, literally, that are 350 miles in one direction. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll just drive 3.5 hours and go to this lake, and then we'll spend there for the day and then drive back. Like that's happens. So like, that's just what you do.
Yeah. I'm still adjusting to that because people are like, oh yeah, it's a day trip. I'm like, no, the fuck, it's not. This is a journey, and we might die on it. They're like, no, it's just a day trip. I'm like, Jesus Christ, my ancestors didn't move that far in their life.
Most people's commutes are, depending on where you're at, I don't know what the average commute is like per everywhere, but most commutes, whether you're rural or city, it's going to be 45 minutes to an hour.
I mean, in fairness, until very recently, my commute was always like at least 30 to 40 minutes, but that's because I lived out in the country. But so that does exist in England or Britain, but it's like you'll be living in the same city in the US and 40 minutes will be like pretty standard to get to work.
I hate that. But dude, I also understand it. Like,
that's the shit that made me pick up Ted K. I was like, I get it. It makes sense.
On the commute, listen to the audiobook being like, yeah, you're right. Fuck this.
The irony of like listening to the fucking audiobook of Industrial Society and its future while like on your car through Bluetooth while you're driving to work is not awesome.
My Bluetooth isn't working, piece of shit.
The irony is not lost. I think I was the day after Uncle Ted died, or announced that.
Oh, fuck, R.I.P. We haven't talked about that.
Fucking R.I.P. Fucking Unky T. That sucks.
Yeah, how come we haven't made, Nathan, I think you and I need to come together and you can draw Uncle Ted, and then I can make the pictures that were for like Harambe and Changuito and everything else. He needs like his RIP, poster that way. We've got to put that together.
Yeah.
We need the angel Uncle Teddy.
Somewhere up in heaven. He's sending mail right now.
The day after he passed,
unlimited stamps. He's in heaven. It's amazing.
I was at Costco and I was ranting on. I was making posts to my stories about going there, and the fucking air purifier has Wi-Fi, and the toothbrush has Bluetooth, and
my dryer has Wi-Fi.
Dude,
yeah,
what the
fuck off.
Yeah,
like,
dude, I pumped gas down here, and while I was pumping gas, the fucking screen on the gas pump started playing advertisements.
Oh, that's old. This has been around
yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
What?
Welcome to America. Yep, welcome to America, buddy.
I mean, I knew about that.
The Industrial Revolution's consequences.
At least it's the early 2000s, maybe even sooner in some places.
The worst when you get into a taxi in the US and they've got a mandatory TV that you have to watch fucking Jimmy Kimmel for like your entire trip, and I'm like, I'm going to kill myself.
That is... I hate that. I hate that so much.
Same.
It's that Black Mirror episode.
I don't want to interrupt, but Nathan, did you not have to leave by now?
I do have to leave very soon. We got another 5 minutes in me.
Cool. I don't want you to
so that means we have another 20 minutes. Hey, look, if he's going to be late anywhere, so long as it's not late to the podcast, that's all I care about. You can be late anywhere else you want.
Yep, +1. I do not care.
It's like, yeah, he's on time here. That's all that matters.
Well, I mean, shit, I guess we can kind of hit the main point of episode 101 a little bit. This is the first time we've brought all of the hosts of the show together now that we're kind of a soft, not reboot. I don't want to call
it a reboot because we've kind of
it's a
transition. It's a passing of the torch.
It's a new season of the podcast. It's a new era.
Yeah.
Yes.
A shiny new era. Here we are.
Lots of things on the way, but it's nice to kind of formalize it a little bit. I mean, you guys have been, part of the show for a long fucking time, of course.
Like,
I mean,
genuinely for both of you, it's been like a year.
Which is funny because Lucas and I just talked for real for the first time yesterday, and I don't know how it took that long.
I was like, Paige was like, I always heard Paige's name and knew she was on the podcast, but we never ended up on the same episode together. So it was just like,
and we just hadn't had the chance to talk. So yesterday or the day before, we literally just started talking, and we're like, "Hey, what's up? Oh my god, it's you!" Finally,
we both know the same retard.
Yeah. And we had a great, we ended up, I called him afterwards and we talked for a while, and I was like, okay, cool. Like now we know what's up, and this was just made to happen. So it's perfection. Now
we got to get you down to visit, and because Paige is close, we can all hang.
Why don't we just get you out of Ireland? Do you, how much do you like Ireland?
I am seriously considering a move to either like Tampa or Austin or some shit.
Texas. Hot take. Yeah, Texas is cool and all, whatever. That place like fucking sucks. Like I hate Texas as far as like what it has for biome. It's all the same everywhere. It's just dusty and flat. And then also it rains in Texas pretty frequently. And no one knows how to drive in fucking Texas in the goddamn
that was actually one of the things that
Ireland.
It's heinous.
I'll fit right in.
Granted, everyone from everywhere always bitches about their drivers. This is true. Everyone's like, the drivers in Pittsburgh, the drivers in LA.
Yeah.
But Texas,
I've experienced almost every state. Texas has really bad fucking drivers.
Yeah, Texas, Los Angeles, and I haven't had the chance to go through Florida yet, but I've heard many stories. I think those are probably some of the three top places. Vegas is kind of its own thing, but everyone just expects it to be that way. So I think it. People die every day on that road, but it's just kind of like, it's Vegas. What do you expect? But
Vegas, baby.
But Texas is, as far as cities go, Austin sucks. It's one of the worst places I've ever been. Fuck that place.
I didn't mind it that much. I was there a couple weeks ago.
Okay. I've been doing a bunch of stuff in Texas lately, just going back and forth. And it's to the point where I was talking to the planning commission in the city about some things, and you can't even have like cartoon pictures of guns on ads without being afraid it might offend somebody. Like this is in San Antonio. And I'm like, wait, you guys are the home of the Alamo, like the home of Black Rifle, that military city USA. They're like, yeah, like Austin blue as fuck. Like Austin is if Seattle and Las Vegas had a grimy baby. I think I said that last time. I was like, I don't know how much you've been to Austin. Granted, I went there at night. It was nighttime Austin, but it was still just like, I don't know. Like, I live in Seattle, and at least Seattle, like, we've got grimy shit, but the air is clean and it's green and beautiful, and you can still get away from it. You kind of can't escape that element. Like, all over the city, you're just kind of in the city. I'm like, I don't like that. But anyway, no, I just Texas is okay, but at least Florida is the actual land of the free, and I really enjoy my seasons, which is why I won't leave the Pacific Northwest until I'm forced to. But I'd probably go to Florida if it was like a second chance. Be like, yeah, it's fucking beautiful and based as fuck.
Yeah, I had someone I know there straight up be like, I want to go to Europe and travel for a year. Do you want to just rent my place? And I was extremely tempted.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Full send.
Yeah.
Come out here. You can stay with it. I mean, I know you can crash fucking with us. I'm sure Nathan. We got all kinds of spots now. You can go all over. Have your little Lucas tour.
Yeah,
great.
Another one.
That would actually be great. We were going to road trip through. We were
also now, you guys, we're all going to go to SHOT Show together in the coming year.
Yes.
Fuck yes. Oh, dude. BR, you're coming this time. We tried to get him last time.
I will. You know? We'll make it happen.
We will indeed make it happen.
I mean, you got your accent. You could probably just come over and find yourself some, get yourself a citizenship last. You know?
Yeah, it is insane, honestly, how that stereotype is 100% true and works extremely well. I just have to say things and it just works.
Yeah, it does. Things have a way of working out that way. You know, you're like, oh shit, this shit sucks. Nothing ever goes right, and I'm like, nah, bro, it's your head that ain't right. You gotta.
Oh yeah, no, I'm the opposite. I have a true believer in everything always works out for me because I am God's favorite soldier. He loves me, and everything always goes right for me, and yeah, it's great.
You sound like I made this friend. His name's Danny. He's a music fellow. And he has very much a similar mindset. Yeah, he does like a bunch of concerts and stuff and has that and has all these fans screaming his name. And he's just like, yeah, how can you have a room full of whatever, tens of thousands of people screaming your name and just not have a God complex? It's just meant to be. And I'm like, yeah, damn. Okay, I ain't gonna argue.
Yeah.
Everything always works out.
Well, whether we like it or not, everything it works out. Whether or not it works out in our favor is dependent upon how you decide to, do things with your skill sets. If you sit on your ass and you're like, nothing happens, you're like, well, did you get up today? Like,
no. Yeah, you can just outwork 90% of problems. So like, just do that.
No, this is true. Think about the relationships people make work, right? You can make anything work. I'm sure somebody listening right now, you got that bitch of a partner or whatever or job, and you're like, they're so shitty, and then you still go to fucking work every day and make excuses about how you need the money when you could work at a fast food place for legitimately probably the same amount of pay. Like,
that's the other thing. People seem to think that once they do something, that has to be the thing they do, and that's the only thing. I'm like, no, you can just do whatever the fuck you want. You can just be like, I don't like this, I'm leaving, goodbye. Yeah,
like Nathan and I had a chat before you moved down here. We were talking, this was like last year. I was like, Nathan, just fucking get here. And he's like, got this. And so I'm like, there will always be something. Part of the reason
I just fucking did it.
Good.
You just gotta be stubborn about it. Like, if you don't like where you're at, just be like, all right, I'm out.
Yep.
Make it happen.
I'm doing it because this Irish hate speech law that will make my memes folder give me like 50 to life forever.
Actually, yeah. Part of the reason I also like expedited my move is like, you like if the options now are like move or die in jail.
Yeah, genuinely, I would be in jail if I didn't leave.
Yeah.
At least America is big enough to move around and divided enough that you can still find communities that support you and whatever. I don't care what the fuck you are. It doesn't matter how outrageous on any like line of the spectrum. Like there's somewhere right now a little culture pocket waiting for you in the USA.
Yep.
That is not true of many other places.
Sure as fuck not. It's a beautiful thing. It makes a world difference.
Ireland's trying to make it illegal to be in possession of anything considered hate material. So that could be anything from like a fucking meme to I actually think a lot of historians are going to get fucked because if you're like World War II researcher and you've got like old Nazi propaganda shit or something, yeah, you're fucked. You're possibly going to jail.
How do they enforce that? Like, do they even have a police force is it super buff? Do people spend a lot of money on their enforcers there?
No, but realistically, what it's going to be is going to be that anyone that they dislike immensely that is making too much noise is going to get targeted. It's just a law really in place to use as like a bludgeoning tool for when they eventually do catch you for something else. But also, I'm not taking the fucking chances.
Oh my God, just rent your house to some, self-righteous fat liberal woman who wants to feel special in Ireland and fucking fuck off in the US, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. To be honest, it's getting fucked here. I can't stay here, so I gotta get the fuck out. It wasn't like I particularly fucking liked the place anyway.
You always have a place to stay with me if you need.
Thank you. I love you, Nathan. I love you very much.
I love you too. We will shoot guns and I don't know, be American.
I'm very excited.
No, Keith. So at some point, very soon, the four of us are going to make a point to come together and get into some shenanigans, whatever that means. It's going to be a downright dandy good time when that does happen.
Yes.
And
which latest SHOT Show, hopefully before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it better be before that. Fuck, that's still 6 months away, dog. That's a whole half a year. Maybe we need to have like a winter tour.
Yeah. No, actually.
Can we do like a book signing? Let's just finally get we'll make.
We don't have a book page.
We have a book.
Fuck! Now we have to write a book to hang out.
No, we have to write a book. It's just a picture book.
No, I've been telling this for ages. We need to do a live podcast where we rent out like a bar that has a stage and shit, and we do a full-on live podcast. People can come and that want to hang out and just have a great time. And
dude, let's do that at SHOT Show. Genuinely, yes, I guarantee at SHOT Show if we reached out to a company,
you are grossly underestimating how fucking expensive, retarded, stupid expensive SHOT Show is to be as any kind of exhibitor.
No, I don't mean as an exhibitor. Remember what we were doing at Durham-Egg?
Oh, yeah. That was also...
Just
something like that. It's like we use an existing booth and we record a live episode. Like, if it's like the Durham-Egg thing, there's enough space around it that you could actually have people fucking show up. And that's just one example.
That said, there's options. I will say in general, there's going to be some stuff coming up. You guys all know I'm working on some shit, and maybe a couple people in the industry do. I can't announce it just yet, but we'll get to have lots of really cool opportunities to do stuff too going into the future, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I hate to cut this short, but I actually have to run. I have a ton of work to finish. I will talk about this before I go because I'm very excited. But next week I'm going to go party on a super yacht, and it's going to be fucking sick in the middle of London. It's going to be so fucking cool.
A super yacht? That's
don't get stabbed or acid.
Super yacht in London. It's fucking huge. It's going to be hype. I'm very excited. It's for
what is your
a work event thing.
That's neat. I'm supposed to, of all random things, I get back from Finished Brutality, and then in September I'm supposed to go have a birthday event with some silly people at one of Conan O'Brien's mansions. And I'm like, that sounds cool. Because I'm like, I don't like drink or anything. So they're like, we need a chaperone. And I'm like, I can help. Well, I got designated.
Yeah, I don't really drink either, but I am absolutely getting photos smoking a cigar on the super yacht, 100%.
Oh yeah, cigars are just cool. I don't know. I like cigars.
I said it's for like the coaching thing I do, and I said to one of our founders, I was like, if every single male student here is not using the super yacht as a Tinder sales asset, they've learned nothing. We failed them.
There is no helping them.
But who's coming to the super yacht? Like, are there gonna be bitches?
That's what I said. I was like, it's gonna be like 100 fucking marketing nerds. We need to get some fucking strippers or some shit.
Yeah, like you better have like
bring in the strippies.
You need like a pussy to peen ratio, and I don't mean like it needs to be legitimate pussy, not just.
I'm very worried about that element. But I'll just make sure all my photos are me on my own, looking pensive off into the distance. But it's gonna be.
This is my super yacht.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'll use Photoshop to remove everyone else but me. But, no, that is genuinely something that I said. I was like, that's something we actually should discuss and worry about. But we'll figure it out when we're fucking there. We'll see how it goes. I think that we can only hold like 80 people anyway or some shit, so we can't even just hit people up or something. But it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be cool. But I have like 6 different clients to finish off before that shit. So unfortunately, I have to run now. It's gonna be midnight.
Honestly,
here.
me too.
I'm working for a few hours.
Well, in closing, everyone, thanks for hanging out. We're stoked to fucking move on into a not new water, but bigger water.
We've officially moving to newer water. We've unofficially been doing it for like 7 months.
Yeah, this is true.
We just announced
the podcast.
Yeah. We're coming out. We're coming out as bigger entrepreneurs.
Nathan's gay.
Well, it's Doodle Cat and the 3 adults. That's really what it is.
That's the big coming out.
Nathan's coming out as a doodle cat.
Nathan's he's just a little doodle cat. There he goes.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to go get fitted for a suit and then autistically dry fire for a little while. So this is yes. I love this country. I love this country so much.
Immigrants always do. Funny how that works out.
Yeah, I'm very excited to move. Be able just to have a gun. That'll be sick.
You know, maybe we aim to create a program where it's a swap where we'll take the immigrants who value freedom and we'll give you our insufferable what's the acronym? The affluent white female liberals, the awfuls.
Yeah,
they don't want to leave.
Yeah,
dude, the amount of people like my friends down here, and I'll tell them about my experiences with, like, for example, Canadian healthcare, and they're looking at me like slack jawed, like, I thought it was so good. It's like, no, I couldn't get a 10-minute outpatient surgery that it was like so many people die in fucking waiting lists. Holy shit.
BR is from like the UK, where like he 100% knows how fucking he's from like Misery Central. Like,
dude, I went into the ER with 2 black eyes after being randomly assaulted and got like a whole scan done. They're like, yeah, you don't have a concussion.
Go home.
I was looking at some of my best mates and I couldn't remember their name, and I'm like, oh, you hear that? You hear that, lads? I don't have a concussion.
I'm fine.
Yeah. Whatever your name is.
Yeah.
Lifelong friend.
I'm blind and fucking retarded, but the doctor's telling good to go. Let's leave.
Fucking solid.
Well, in the meantime, we're just gonna hope that Nathan doesn't get gout again, or die of any weird strange illness.
After Texas and after a couple of times, yeah, it got pretty bad.
He has not learned anything.
I haven't learned anything. We went to a Waffle House in Tennessee.
Yes, we did.
Oh god.
And holy shit, I brought my own maple syrup. That was dope. Waffle House is
Nathan's
great.
foot will be like 3 times the size it's meant to be, and he'd be like, I don't know what's wrong with me, and he's just boiling sugar in a pot on the pan.
No, Nathan, you made all these rants about hating fat people with Mitch, and if you're not careful, you're gonna become what you hate.
Though. He's not fat. He's just his foot gets fat.
Yeah. No, I've been doing pretty good. Like, now I'm here. My eating's kind of equalized a little bit, and I'm back to like not eating gas station garbage and like road food. But
traveling is so rough for that.
Yeah,
it is so shit.
Holy
fuck, so bad you're
really
traveling.
bad. I actually like everything fits different, and my road trip was like 2 weeks. But fuck, guys, like, I like basically everything. You know how you get coffee and it's like Dunkin' Donuts or Tim Hortons or whatever the fuck. Everything's like a chain. Here it's not. It's all tiny little individually owned coffee stands. So I'll go up there and be like, yeah, I would like a black coffee, please, or like a black iced coffee. And they'll look at me like, you don't want anything in it? Are you sure? Like, to be clear, you mean nothing in it, right? And they're looking at me like I've got 3 fucking heads. It's like, guys.
I had a guy do that at Starbucks here. I was like, black coffee, please. And he was like, you don't want milk or sugar? I was like, no. He was like, not how people do that, man.
Dude,
just give me my drug.
Yeah, I was like, all right. And then to be fair, he gives it to me and he goes, I put 6 shots of espresso in it for you. And I was like, oh, thank you.
I've legit I'll get every once in a while, like I enjoy my coffees, but I don't need like a lot of sugar. I'll be like, oh yeah, make it like half sweet or something. Like just put like a single pump of like flavor in there. Like, that's fine. That sounds good today. And I've had like bitter women like look at me and just like crank out like 6 pumps of sugar in my drink. I'm like, no, that's not what I wanted. They're like, well, you like, there's no way you mean that. Kind of. I'm like, yeah, no, I really do. I don't need it, or I just want a little bit. That's it. I promise. It's awful. But hey, Nathan, you're here. Yes. Lucas has got to go, and
I gotta run.
So does Nathan, actually. Where I told you 5 minutes, and here we are now, 25 minutes, because that's
I gotta go get all my stuff done. Also, probably get some Glock sights pushed for me. So, right,
Paige, it was great to be on the episode with you. Great to finally be on everyone all at once.
Yes,
and it'll never happen again. This is it.
Yeah. This is it. Martin Ward is canceled. We're a Bucky's podcast now.
We're a Bucky's podcast now.
We actually do have a ton of cool shit planned. Paige let me in on all the fucking secret meetings and documents and shit, and it's going to be fucking sick. We've got so many cool things coming up. Yes. But yeah, it's going to be great.
I'm excited.
Yay, Team Doodle Cat.
Team Doodle Cat, let's fucking go.
That's the rebrand. All right. Thank
We're
you.
gonna have Nathan on a leash at Shotcha, a little harness, like a kid backpack harness.
I hate it. I hate it. There's already some really dark implications in there.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
we'll find use for that leash later on.
I'll be fucking him in the ass.
Okay, bye.